Hello, my name is Josh Zinger, and I am going to create a screencast to show you how I create screencasts. And I've done some research, I've tried some different programs, and I've found one that I like. There is a free version, which is excellent, has a lot of features. Um, so I'm going to take you through that today. Real quick before I get into that, some of the programs that I tried and didn't choose were ScreenCast-O-Matic, Jing. They both have their benefits um, in that they are free, but they also have their drawbacks too. Um, Exporting can be an issue. Working on multiple projects at once can be an issue. Um, so then there's also QuickTime if you're on a Mac, which will do screencasting in the basic version, and that is also free if you're using a Mac, but the PC version does not have that option. So the one I ultimately chose was Active Presenter. So I'm going to go ahead and open Active Presenter to show you how it looks. And let me just adjust the size to fit the window here. So you can purchase a license for the full version. I'm not going to do that. I do appreciate that they have a free version, and I've used it several times. One of the things that this has that most free programs don't have is a really detailed help file. There is like a 160 page maybe PDF help file that goes along with this. It's huge, which is really helpful. So I'm going to click Create New Project, and I'll give my project a name. Here is the location where it should be saved. It's the last place I saved anything, so it automatically goes back to that location. You could change it in the normal ways. You could import PowerPoints, projects, or start with a blank project. You can also choose one of these capture profiles. I'm going to choose full motion recording. You also have the option to do a smart capture, which, like it says here, will create training materials with auto full motion recording or without. Those are the last two options. The training materials are similar to interactive PowerPoint slides that you can load onto the computer, have students or have anyone complete tasks within those. The reason I don't use those is my content learning management system doesn't support them. So at this point, I'm sorry, and you can also create, delete, and edit capture profiles. But this one works for me, full motion recording. Click OK, and you get this. You also have this bar at the bottom with these options. You can choose your microphone, and this gives you a test so you can see that the microphone is working. You can choose between a custom screen size and a full screen. I'm going to go ahead and choose full screen. I would just use the same screen resolution that my screen has, but you could change it. I think it's best not to. Record system audio, and you've got a few more options here, but I'm not going to get into those because they're really not necessary. Everything is set up just the way it needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and start my capture. And you'll see down here this black bar has some information. It's telling me my frames per second. It's given me in this bar here, this block here, is telling me some keyboard shortcuts I could use. I can see that the audio is working, and it's given me my running time. So I've also got pause, stop, and close this. So I would create my screen recording, and then I would save it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. And you'll see it automatically loads this preview of my recording. I have some zoom options here because it does load quite large into a window that isn't huge. So I'm going to go ahead and change the magnification so I can see the whole window. And you'll notice unless you close this black bar, it will stay in your screencast. So probably a good idea to do that, even though it's helpful. The other option is to not do a full screen recording and just have that bar placed outside of your window. So I've got a preview pane over here. If I was going to do the option to create training materials to make them interactive, this would be more useful because it would be similar to a PowerPoint at that point. But I do have just a single recording. I have options here for one slide because I only have one window, system audio, vocal audio, which is the microphone line in audio, and then the video track, which is steady. So I have tons of options that you can see up here. It's almost too cluttered, and again, the same thing goes with all these menus. There are a ton of things I could do. Create interaction, create annotations, work with slides, change my view. I can highlight certain areas. Those are all great options, but I just don't need them for this tutorial. I could do some editing down here, loop audio if I had an audio track I wanted to add, and I could preview right from here as well. So those are all things that for this I don't need to do. But you'll notice that if you hover over anything, you do get the tooltip for what this actually does. Most of the things that are in these menus are also in this toolbar here, which is quite extensive. The one that I typically focus on is this one right here. This is the export menu. So I have so many options to export this video. This one, as you saw, is export to Flash simulation. This is an HTML simulation. I can choose PowerPoint, Excel, Word, PDF, or HTML slideshow. I can choose export to Flash video, which I would use if I was going to embed this in a website. But what I'm actually going to do is put this on YouTube. So I could export images, but I'm going to choose export to video. And I've got my general options here. I can change some of the rendering thing, include the cursor path, export audio. I can do closed captions as hard subtitles or soft subtitles. I am going to leave these basic options the way they are. The only thing I would make sure is I want to make sure I export an MP4. I do have other options, but an MP4 is what I'm going to use. Make sure my location is set where it should be, and it is. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and then I have advanced tab over here. I can generate a SCORM package, which is what you would actually upload to your learning management system. Like I said, mine doesn't support it, or if it does, I don't know how to use it. I haven't been able to find it yet. So I'm going to go and click OK. It's going to process this video. And what I will do after this processes is sign into YouTube and actually go to my channel, which I haven't added anything to yet because I just created this. But I would upload the video from MP4 status or from the hard drive, and then I would go into My Big Campus once the video is on YouTube, put the web address here, click on Get Info. Some of these would autofill. I believe the title, the description would autofill. The tags would not. I would choose Career and Tech Ed. Minimum grade for this, probably 4th, maximum 12th. To get to this screen, I just clicked on Library. add library item, and add new YouTube video. That brings me right back to here, and then I would have to select these options again. Because I don't have the video actually uploaded yet, it is not available, but that is how I would do it. So I came back into Active Presenter and the export was successful. I don't want to view the output now, so I'm going to go ahead and click no, and I can close this because I'm finished with it. So it's asking me if I want to save changes made to the screencasting tutorial Active Presenter project. I'll go ahead and click yes. That way any changes I've made in the editing area are saved, and it'll close the program. At that point, that's all there is to it, and that is how I'm going to do screencasts to provide video tutorials for my kids, for my students.